Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, just out here in the garage. Just got home from having dinner with the family and thought I'd make a video for the channel because there's a couple things I wanted to talk about that have really, well, I guess one thing surprised me and one thing didn't. Let's talk about what everyone's all concerned about this week, which is the ATF pistol brace rule. And some people have contacted me, friends and people from the channel and so forth, go, "Oh my gosh, did you see the Fifth Circuit putting an injunction in?" And, of course, the YouTube channels that are all, breaking news, huge win, they're lying to you. If you guys go and look at the injunction, the way the injunction is worded, it only affects the plaintiffs in that case. So unless you are a named plaintiff in that case in the Fifth Circuit, it doesn't apply to you. Yeah, I'm sorry to break the news to you, and why the Fifth Circuit wrote the injunction that way, I have no idea. It's a very limited injunction. I know some people are asking them for clarification, but just so you know, the Fifth Circuit only deals with states like Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. I think that's pretty much it. Maybe Oklahoma. And if you're in those states and you're a named plaintiff, which is very few and far between, the injunction is for you. If not, it doesn't matter. So it's not a huge win. Now, does this bode well for potentially in the future overturning things? Yes, it does. Which, by the way, as I've said in the past, there is a chance that this is going to get overturned. Because we all know it's unconstitutional, but you're putting your faith in judges who are going to put your rights above the power of the federal government. So there have been a lot of judges appointed by people like Obama and Joe Biden on these benches. So do you really think they're going to overturn it? Anyway, that's the first thing. So that is news that I was, I guess, kind of expecting and I'm not surprised about. But tonight, I was very surprised by Mr. Colion Noir. You guys know that he is one of the biggest firearms YouTubers out there, and which, by the way, I think he's fantastic. I think he has one of the most charismatic personalities and is a great voice for the Second Amendment. He's younger, extremely intelligent. He's a lawyer. And I guess that's what surprises me, because tonight he was, I guess he put out a video where he talks about that injunction, and he kind of mentions the same thing I just did about being a named plaintiff and how it might bode well once clarification is given for a broader number of people. But he said something in the video that was factually inaccurate, and that really surprised me because, as I said, he's an attorney. And if you go watch his video, and by the way, me criticizing him in no way is disparaging him, either as a person or a YouTuber. I think he's absolutely fantastic, and I think all of you need to go out there and subscribe to him. But that being said, it really surprised me that he would say that, what this rule means for those people is you have to, destroy the gun or destroy the brace, or he said register it for $200 before May the 31st, which is factually inaccurate. It's not right. You can amnesty register that gun. Now, granted, I'm not saying that's good or bad or the ATF has the authority to do that, but it doesn't cost you $200. So why is he giving false information? Is it because of fear-mongering to just kind of rile up people that don't understand the law? I don't know. But for some reason, I kind of feel like I have self-appointed myself on this crusade to end this misinformation. I guess you can Form 1 it with the $200 tax, but you have an option until May the 31st to not pay the $200. And he didn't mention that in his video. So why did he do that? I don't know. As I said, I'm not calling him out. I'm not saying it's anything nefarious. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not saying anything about him in any disparaging way. As I mentioned before, he is extremely smart, and most importantly, charismatic. He could bring in so many people to the Second Amendment. But he gave that wrong piece of information. I'm not an attorney, but I know that, and he knows that too. So I'm very surprised by that. Did you guys catch that in his video, if you're subscribed to and watched his video? So anyway, that's the two things I wanted to talk about, because I know people are going to ask me about it a whole bunch when it comes to this injunction. See what else is going on tonight that I can talk about. Oh, you know what I did over the weekend? I don't know if this interests some of you. I know some of you guys like to be preppers and like EDC stuff and so forth, and get the food storage and all that kind of stuff. One of the things a lot of people recommend, that if you are a prepper, is to get your amateur radio license. Now, I've had my amateur radio license for about a year. I started off at the lowest level, which they currently offer, which is the technician license, which allows you to transmit on the on all the VHF and UHF bands, and a little bit in the HF bands. In the HF bands, which are the lower bands, you can get further propagation, bounce it off the ionosphere and go around the world. But you have very limited. But over the weekend, I took the test and I aced it. I aced it 100% on the test. So I've upgraded my license to general class. So I have a lot more options now when it comes to the bands that I can transmit on, which is really, really cool and really exciting. I just got to spend some more money on better antennas. I think I have a pretty good radio, but there's so much in amateur radio that I want to do. And it costs a lot of money. Get amplifiers, and but eventually we're going to move out of this house, and hopefully we're going to move out to the country, because one of the issues I have with my current setup is, because we live in a place where we have an HOA, I can't really do big antennas, and I can't do horizontally polarized antennas, which are ones on this way versus this, which the HF bands kind of prefer the horizontally polarized ones. It's just better. You can get bouncing off the ionosphere, and you get directional antennas a lot easier in those bands and so forth. But I have to kind of hide the antennas a little bit, and so I have to have a vertically polarized antenna for my HF stuff. And being around so many houses and in a major suburb where there's so much going on, my noise level, which is like the static level on a lot of those bands, is really high. I mean, it's really high. So I have a hard time hearing a lot of the further stations. So anyway, that's what's been going on. Maybe I'll show you what I have on my antenna here. So hold on, I'm going to get this camera. We're going to go for a little walk here. I don't know if this would interest you. You might hear some things in the background. One of our neighbors, I guess, is having a pool party. A lot of graduation parties going on right now. So we'll go out here to my backyard, and let me turn the camera around. And there we go. There's my vertical HF antenna, and then way up there on top of the house is my 2 meter and UHF antenna up there. So this is the back of the house, and obviously the antenna can be hidden from the front, so I don't have problem with the HOA. So that was a little piece of trivia about me, in case you didn't know. But I'm really excited about that the more I get into it. But right now I'm studying for the next level, which is the amateur extra class. And that's the highest class. So I'd have the ability to transmit on all the bands. And as time goes on, hopefully I'll get better antennas and radios and things. So hold on, let me turn this camera back around here and put it in the stand. There we go. So anyway, that's what's going on. So yeah, so battling more misinformation and dealing with amateur radio stuff. So that's my garage ramblings for tonight. Maybe not too exciting, but yeah, that's what I'm into. So anyway, what do you guys think? Are any of you guys into amateur radio? And I guess that's about it. So maybe we'll get this injunction clarified. Maybe it applies to everybody in the Fifth Circuit. Who knows? So that's all I want to talk about. So let me know what you think about Mr. Colion Noir. and what he said being factually inaccurate and amateur radio. So, as always, thanks for watching.